So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this last Q&A clinic on XEVMPD service for the year 2025. My name is Katerina Scarpati, and I am supporting the change management activities for this service and other sport services. And today with me, I have XEVMPD experts, Veronica Baker and Marcos Fernandez Gomez, who are here to answer live to your questions on this service. So just a few housekeeping rules as usual before we start our session. Note that this session is being recorded and the recording will be made available through the EMA corporate website on the event page and via the EMA YouTube channel. In order to ask your questions, you are welcome to use the interaction tool Slido. The interaction via Slido, of course, is voluntary and you may opt to remain anonymous. But if you choose to use Slido, note that you consent to the processing of your personal data as explained in a specific section of the EMA data protection notice. So to ask your questions via Slido, you can either join at slido.com, including the code XEVMPD 1812, or you can scan the QR code that you see here on the slide. Once you're in Slido, you can send or upvote your questions, also anonymously. And please note that questions will be shown on screen and answered live by EMA colleagues in order of upvotes. So the top voted questions will get an answer earlier. So please, before asking your question, check if maybe someone else has already asked a question on the same topic, and you can just click the like button to upvote it. Just a recap also of the Q&A scope of this session. So as I mentioned, we will be answering questions live regarding the XEVMPD service. For questions related to other sports services, so to SMS, OMS, RMS, or PMS, you can join the dedicated live Q&A sessions. And here you can see the list of upcoming Q&A clinics. So as I mentioned, this is the last clinic on XEVMPD for this year, but recently we have scheduled many more Q&A clinics for 2026 because also gathering your feedback, we saw that these monthly series are really useful to users to get quick answers to most frequent questions. So for now, we have renewed the monthly series for SOR clinics, PMS clinics, and XEVMPD clinics from January to May 2026. And all the registration to the WebEx sessions are available already on EMA website, and you can easily find all the sessions via the event section of the website. We have also already set up all the quarterly SPOR and XEVMPD status update webinars for the year 2026. When we met in the last Q&A clinic on 18th of November, the 28th of January session was already set up. But now we have also set up the sessions for Q2 on 13th of April, Q3 on 8th of July, and for Q4 on the 7th of October. Again, you can already register to this WebEx session, so you can. So I suggest you do if you plan to join. So you have already the invitations and the link to join in your calendar when the time comes via the registration links on the event pages on the EMA website. And before we dive into our Q&A, just a final reminder that the SPOR and XEVMPD satisfaction survey is still open for you until the 8th of March 2026. So you can go there whenever you want to scanning this QR code or going to Slido, adding the code SPOR-survey, and you can leave your feedback on your user experience on any sport service or XEVMPD service whenever you prefer. Then we'll close the survey for 1 month and we'll open a new survey, still on customer satisfaction survey, on customer satisfaction during the 13th of April webinar. But now it's time to start with our questions for today. So I see we already have a few. First one, we have received notifications on the disabling of HTTP schemas for ICSR acknowledgements for both EVPost and Gateway, with transition beginning in and live with production in July 2026. Will the same be planned for XEVMPD?
I have been made aware of this change, and we are currently discussing this with the development team, whether the same timelines will apply or not. So we will definitely let you know when we have more information available, very likely to be provided when we have the XEVMPD webinar planned on the 28th of January.
Thank you. Next, in section 2, SMPC mention each 1 milliliter contains salt name present equivalent to 1 milligram base name present. What active substance should be considered with 1 milliliter strength, as complete strength does not mention with salt and base?
I can take this one maybe. So if the SMPC is what you have here, it should be the base name, because it's where it says 1 milligram of the base per 1 milliliter. So that's the way it should be submitted. Because you see that for the salt name, you don't have a quantity, you don't have a numerator, so you cannot provide it. It should be for the base name.
Thank you, Marcos. Next one. When will be the new XEVMPD web interface available for users?
So we will make it available in Q1 of next year, so 2026. We will announce the exact date during the XEVMPD webinar update on the 20th of January.
Thank you. So here we have a popular one. When will XEVMPD be replaced completely by PMS?
I wish I had a date, but I don't. So we are still defining the strategy. As we always say, XEVMPD and the data from XEVMPD is consumed by a lot of systems, not only internally, but also from NCAs, etc. So we need to make sure that all these consuming systems are moved to PMS and moved to be consuming from PMS. So again, we are defining the strategy, and we don't have still a date by when this is going to happen. As soon as we know it, we will let you know.
Thank you, Marcos. With reference to the PMS data matrix cross-platform Excel list, PLM and EAF consume medical devices data from PMS. Is this planned for the next PMS iteration? This is currently not possible by XEVMPD when using UDI-DI as code.
Yeah, so for the moment, there is no next PMS iteration planned to follow this wording. So we are not expecting any additional enrichment for the moment. This might change if we have a consuming system saying, hey, I will need your medical device information, or I don't know, I will need the storage conditions information. Then we will have a new enrichment process, let's say, or a new field to be enriched. But for the moment, we don't have anything planned. Yeah, as soon as we have any requirement, we will let you know. Again, we will give enough time, the same as we are giving now for manufacturers, but there's no additional information for the moment.
Thank you. We have products registered in Northern Ireland under the UK and follows the UK PV reporting requirements. Is it correct that submit Northern Ireland in XEVMPD in this situation is voluntary?
So if indeed approved under UK regulatory framework, then the submission is voluntary. If approved under EU regulatory framework, then the products are in scope of Article 57.2 legal requirements.
Thank you. Is it possible to have one PRD code for multiple pack sizes?
It is possible. So technically, you can submit this the information like this. Now, is it recommended? No. The idea is that in the future, all the pack sizes need to be submitted as individual EV codes. But if you are not breaking any rule, like the pack size has a specific MA number, or is for a critical medicine, then you can submit one EV code for multiple pack sizes. It's possible, yes.
Thank you. So we need to upload the strength for active substance as per IDMP standards to differentiate between strength of active substance and reference strength of this active substance. But reference strength is not coming in XEVPRM, and if we upload and submit the strength for active substance in XEVMPD, would that be okay?
Well, you don't need to update anything to refer to the reference substance or reference strength. We have not asked for this for the moment. So you don't need to do it if in the SMPC or in Module 3 you don't have this reference strength. So I would not do it. In fact, I would not change the strength of a product already submitted to XEVMPD, because that would mean that you would create new products. The active substance and the strength are grouping elements. We use them to define to which medicinal product the CV code is going to go. So if you change it, you will create a new product. So I would not change this unless you really want to do it, but taking into account that this will happen. And we have not asked for reference strengths and things like that for the moment.
Thank you. Can the existing XEVMPD web users access the new XEVMPD interface without retraining?
Yes, that is correct. You will not need to be retrained because the new user interface is very, very similar to the current user interface, and also the existing access that you use will be working for the new user interface. I can see that we have quite a few questions related to the new user interface. What I would like to mention is that we have sent a dedicated communication via the EMA service desk through email to all EV Human registered users on Friday the 12th. If you are a registered user in XEVMPD Ultravigilance, you should have received this information. If that's not the case, please open a ticket and we will look into why your address was not included. Nevertheless, we have provided some information about the new user interface. We have also provided a link to a knowledge base article in the ServiceNow portal. Katerina, maybe would you be able to share it where we already have provided some questions and answers that we have been receiving during this webinar, so you can actually have a look at the information that is already available. We have also published a draft user manual for the new user interface. The link is also included. You will not need to have ActiveX or IETAP extension installed on your computer to actually access the new user interface. It is going to be a web-based solution, so you will have a URL and you will just use that URL to actually access the new user interface and work in that user interface. So please have a look at this article. There is more information related to the release of the new user interface in Q1 2026.
Yeah, and
thank you, Katerina. This is very helpful.
And if you go on ServiceNow, you see and you type XEVMPD. This is really the first article that is suggested. And just also to show you the new draft user guide for the new XEVMPD interface has been published in this page of EMA corporate website. Indeed, you can see here that it was updated on 10th of December. And if you go here directly in the submitting data section, you can see it here. Yes, draft user manual.
Sorry, Katerina. What I also want to mention that in this draft user manual, you have an annex, and in that annex, there's a description of the fairly subtle, but main differences between the current XEVMPD user interface and the new XEVMPD user interface. So you can also compare the changes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks to you. So going back to our questions. Okay, next one. The data sync from Article 57 database to PMS is not happening correctly. We often see duplicates for the same pack size. Could you please comment on resolving such issues?
Yeah, so I have explained this morning on the PMS Q&A clinics. This is one of the main goals that we have for Q1 next year, is to get rid of all these duplicates. We will be performing data fixes to remove the duplicates and merge whenever we need to do it. And we will let you know when this is done. This will also be published in the FAQ document of PMS. So yes, bear with us. We know that the issue has been happening, and we will be fixing it next quarter.
Thank you. How should a gateway user register a new entry in XEVMPD for an existing marketing authorization holder that has relocated? The entity has been assigned a new location ID and a new EV code following the address change.
So just to clarify, if the legal entity remains the same, so the legal entity of the marketing authorization holder has not changed, and it's only the address that has changed, then there was no need to create a new marketing authorization holder entity in the XEVMPD, which resulted in a new EV code to be assigned. The MAH, or in case they use the gateway provider should have performed an update of the existing MAH entity, and then just reference the new address and the new location ID in the comment field. And then this change would be reflected in all the AMPs that reference this MAH EV code. If you have inserted a new MAH entity in the XEVMPD, and therefore there is a new EV code assigned to this MAH, that means that you would need to go and perform an update of all the authorized medicinal product entries where this MAH is referenced. I'm not entirely sure if this is something that you want to do. What I would advise that please contact us maybe through the service desk, log a new ticket, where you provide us with the exact information, the MAH name, the EV code, etc. We will then be able to review how many product entries you have, etc., and advise further if an update is really necessary, or if maybe we can nullify the newly created MAH entity, and you can just update the existing entity so it references the new address and the new loc ID. But please do contact us. We can advise further. Just be more specific. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you please confirm that the mandatory provision of the information on the product down to the pack size level is required for products that are not on the market?
So in chapter 3.2, at the end of the document, there is an annex where you can see a diagram explaining when you need to provide the different pack sizes for the product. There, it's indicated that this should be done for products that are in the market, like mandatory for products that are in the market, optional for products or packages that are not in the market. That's the requirement that we received from ESMP, because remember that this submission of pack sizes is to support ESMP and shortages. This indication might change in the future. My recommendation, to be honest, is that if you have authorized pack sizes, whether they are in the market or not, you submit them. But the real requirement is that only those that are in the market should be provided. But that's, again, the requirement right now. It can change if ESMP also changes the requirement. We will, again, let you know. But yeah, go also and check the diagram. It is explained there.
Thank you. Is it mandatory that the SMPC version that should be associated to the PRD should be the last updated version?
Ideally, yes, because that way we are able to validate the information that is provided for that authorized medicinal product in the XEVMPD with the information from the latest available SMPC. If the SMPC does not state some information, and therefore you have, the information in XEVMPD does not match, you can also attach an additional document, for example, a copy of marketing authorization, which will have that information that is not in the SMPC. But if possible, yes, the SMPC version that is attached to the product entry should always be the latest updated version. Thank you.
Thank you. On 22nd of August this year, I have reinserted new PRD for missing package size in XEVMPD for our products, non-CAP, non-ULCM. We received the note entity inserted successfully, but we still didn't receive the acknowledgement for product validation.
I can reply to this. So that is correct. So due to the amount of new EV codes that we are receiving due to this pack size enrichment to support ESMP, we are currently having a backlog of validations. We are going through them. And that's why some of your EV codes might not be validated. We have prioritized different EV codes. And that's maybe the reason why we have not validated this specific EV code. We will get there. We will validate the records. Also, take into account that sometimes what we've done is, if we have validated one EV code of the medicinal product, let's say, we might delay the validation of the others because we know that the information is the same. It's just a difference on the package description because it's a different pack. So that might be the reason why.
Thank you. Following up on the previous question, regardless of the need for the creation of a new organization in XEVMPD, how can a gateway user do it?
I'm not entirely sure if we completely understand the link between
I can maybe,
the gateway.
I can maybe reply. So,
okay.
So the fact that you are a gateway submitter means that you have a system that is creating the XEVPRM and is in charge of sending this XEVPRM directly to XEVMPD. Therefore, we are not responsible for how you create this XEVPRM. You should have an internal system creating this message. So I think that's where the question is coming from. You need to check internally. There should be a system that generates this XEVPRM and send it directly to XEVMPD.
The gateway provider always submits data on behalf of the marketing authorization holder. So if you are a gateway provider of an MAH, whatever you submit in the XEVMPD is owned in the XEVMPD by the MAH.
Okay. Thank you. Can you please confirm that it is not mandatory to update XEVMPD each time there is an update of the RSI, but only if concerns the Article 57 fields completed for this DMP?
Can you please clarify what you mean by RSI, and by DMP you mean development medicinal product? Thank you. Maybe we can come back to this question.
Yeah.
Can we attach email communication to verify the information like renewal dates, etc., as an additional document, as some marketing authorization does not provide any authorized granting letter?
To be perfectly honest, we have seen many different types of attachments referenced in authorized medicinal product entities in XEVMPD. So in theory, yes, email communication can be attached. However, ideally the document that is attached is some sort of official document that contains the information. So yes, technically you can attach it if it's something that will allow the validation team to check the information, that it's fine. But if possible, try to make that the document a little official. Thank you.
Thank you. In which guideline can we find the requirements of the pack sizes?
Chapter 3.2 XEVPRM user guidance.
Thank you. When will the new user interface for XEVMPD be available? Okay, so for this we already replied. It will be announced. The exact date will be announced on the 28th of January on the Sport Status Update webinar. Then, second part of the question: can it be used in Mac environment? Is it the same as the current one in terms of submit data, but just not using Internet Explorer? Finally.
So it will be a URL. So in theory, it will work with any browser. However, what we recommend is that you use either Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome, as per our IT policy. The IT department is able to provide support to users who use the user interface in any of these two browsers. Please note that the user interface is not designed to work on, for example, mobile phones. So just so you know, however, in theory, yes, it should work in Mac environment.
Thank you. We inserted a new product in XEVMPD, but it's not visible in the PMS user interface. A ticket is raised for this, but even after doing another update submission as well, it was not visible in PMS user interface.
So here, most likely the issue is between the XEVMPD and the OMS mapping, I would say. So most likely this product is migrated to PMS, but without a holder, and that's why you cannot see it. But we need to check case by case. So if you have opened the ticket, the team will get to it, and we will analyze what's the issue, and we will fix it. So you just need to bear with us. We will get to the ticket.
Thank you. If for a specific country, for example, Belgium, there are different languages, is it expected to have different entries for each language?
The short answer is yes, it is. So each of the different, so if you have, for example, the product information in 3 different languages, so if you have French, Belgian, and Dutch, French, Dutch, and German, then you should submit 3 authorized medicinal product entities in the XEVMPD, referencing each of those, attachments, each of the either SMPC or pills, and the product information, and by this I mean specifically the full presentation name, should be provided in that specific language. So in French, in Dutch, and in German.
Okay, thank you. So follow-up to morning PMS clinic question follow-up. Special characters in the SPC section 1, MPFN, hyphen, dot, semicolon, etc. should not be in XEVMPD, but QC team are manually entering them against what we indicated. So not to insert the special characters. Why?
Well, I need to review this case because hyphens might be needed if the SMPC says that this is the name, or dots, or we need to check specifically this case. I will check also with the validation team, which is the criteria for these changes on the name.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, so we had a clarification of the acronyms for the earlier question. So RSI is, for example, investigator brochure, DMP is for development product. And just as a reminder, the question was, can you please confirm that it is not mandatory to update XEVMPD each time there is an update of the RSI, so of the for example, investigator brochure, but only if it concerned the Article 57 fields completed for this development product.
So this is correct. Also, just to remind you, the provision of investigator's brochure or any attachment for a development medicinal product entity in XEVMPD is optional. So you do not actually have to reference any document in a DMP entry. If you do, however, include this this kind of attachment in a DMP, then we would expect that the information in that document matches to what is inserted in the XEVMPD. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, when SMPC lists only base form but module 3 lists salt form, can we submit XEVMPD with salt form plus reference strength in base form or wait for IDMP? Should IDMP include both forms despite SMPC showing only base?
Okay, so first of all, IDMP is a set of standards, so it's just a correction on like IDMP is a set of standards. We don't need to wait for IDMP. The correct way is like wait for PMS, right? It's the new database. I just want to make this clarification. Then you don't need to. So in XEVMPD, you can only send one type of a strength. And you cannot mix them. So if in your dossier you have the salt in the SMPC and the strength for the salt, you can submit that. If in module 3 you have something else, you can also submit it. So XEVMPD allows you to submit either following the SMPC or module 3, but you cannot mix them, okay? You can also submit one type of active substance and its strength. Therefore, you will need to wait for PMS to be completely open, and XEVMPD is the commission where you will need to provide the reference strength and in PMS. So in XEVMPD, you can submit either following the SMPC or module 3, not mixing them. And then you wait for PMS to be completely opened to provide the rest of the data.
Thank you. Recently, the SVG has put the flag 0 for excipient OPADRI, while before we assigned 1. I think it's not appropriate to first evaluate a substance valid and after not. How should these changes be managed?
That we need to check with SMS. Yeah, we will need to check with them. Sorry, I cannot provide any information here.
We recommend that you just submit a ticket through the service desk, and the SMS team will provide the answer accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. In XEVMPD, the field authorization renewal date, we should put the authorization date or renewal date for a product that has both dates in SMPC.
It should always be the latest date, so it should be the renewal date.
Okay. For PSMF entry, If we have vendor for EU QPPV and the location is her place of work, what should be stated on company field, MAH or vendor's company?
I presume you mean the MAH, sorry, the company name in the PSMFL. It should be the MAH because the vendor is providing services to the MAH. The master file location is for the product that is owned by an MAH. So it should be the MAH.
Thank you. In XEVMPD, we have excipients with SVG1, but the ones migrated to PMS are SVG0.
That I need to review because I'm not sure this is true. Or if it's true, I need to review because we've done the mappings not taking into account these flags. So in SMS, we have a substance with an SMS ID, and there is a mapping to the same substance in XEVMPD. So if that is happening, is maybe because the mapping is wrong. So I also would ask you to send the ticket so we can check these mappings. Like send us the EV code of the product, and if possible also the PMS ID, so we can check which data you have in XEVMPD and which data has been migrated to PMS.
Thank you. When all the substances will be ultimately evaluated by SMS?
Well, that's the question for SMS. I know they are doing some. We know they are doing some validations, and they are focusing now on homeopathic substances. So, but I don't know when all the substances will be evaluated, and I also think that this is a continuous project. It's not something that will be finished at some point. So, I mean, most of them will be finished at some point, but then they need to continue. I would recommend you to come to the SPORE webinar update on by the end of January. You can ask the question there as well for SMS.
Okay. Thank you. If a PSMF is located at the service provider or QPPV, which address should be stated?
As per GBP Module 2, the PSMFL should be in the EU where the main pharmacovigilance activities of the MAH are performed, or at the site where the QPPV resides or operates. In this particular case, it should be the QPPV.
Okay, thank you. Meanwhile, we have a new question. Should we always upload the common SMPC along with the current MA doc in 30 days from the EOP date and the procedure date?
The answer is yes. So as Veronica said, whenever there is an update on the SMPC, we should receive the latest version of the SMPC. So in case of an MRP or a DCP, you can provide the common SMPC, and then whenever you have the translations, you can also provide the national SMPCs.
Thank you. Next one. You said that for EV codes with the same products, but for a different pack size, it is possible to not receive acknowledgement validation. In this case, we will have not assessed EN codes. This will be an issue.
I don't understand this EN, if it means like, I guess it's EV, maybe, EV codes. That's not an issue. So we have assigned a priority on the EV codes that we receive on these inserts. EV. So we have assigned priority. So if we identify that those EV codes are for new products that we don't have in the database, those are priority 1. Also, if it's a new substance for this specific marketing authorization holder, these are also priority 1. Then, if we identify that this EV code is just an additional package of something that was already in the database, the priority is lower because we assume that we have already validated something in the database and you are just sending a duplicate, just something different maybe on the package description or something like this. So this has a less priority. This way we reduce the issue that you can have. We also make sure that we validate new products and new entities. And yeah, therefore, it's not an issue.
Thank you. We have deleted pack sizes on XEVMPD, but they still show up in PMS package items with an authorization status as not valid or withdrawn. Is this correct? Because previously, if a pack size was removed on XEVMPD, it was removed fully from PMS as well.
Well, first of all, you cannot remove anything from XEVMPD unless you have access to our database, and I think you don't. So maybe you have submitted a nullification, and then in PMS, those packages get also nullified. So I would make sure that you have nullified this in XEVMPD and you have the status nullified. Because as what I see in this question is that maybe you didn't nullify it, you just withdraw. You change the authorization status to not valid withdrawn or not valid whatever. So I would first make sure that, make sure what you did in XEVMPD. If you have nullified the EV code and it's still in PMS, open a ticket. If you have not nullified them, but just change the authorization status, then it is okay, the way it is, because then in PMS, as you said, we have this authorization status.
Thank you. If a change in the SMPC is out of the scope of Article 57, is it still required to update in the set timelines?
No. So, I mean, if it's out of the scope of Article 57, you don't need to submit them if you don't want to. Yeah, but then if you submit it, then ideally you should keep this information up to date. And ideally you should follow like the 30 calendar days for updates, etc. Again, it's out of the scope of Article 57. You can, in theory, manage the data for those products as you want. But if you want to keep the data, then you should follow the timelines, ideally.
Thank you. How long should we wait for third acknowledgement level for an update of a product?
So
go.
Marcos, thank you.
Yes.
So if the medicinal product was already validated by us, and then at some point in the future you submit an update, there is no defined timeline for the revalidation of your product entry. The reason is we have a very large volume of data that we would have to validate, but also we will make the validation of the updated version as and when it is required to submit either business processes. For example, if there's a need to allow the MAH access to the ICSR download, or if the product was validated for more than 2 years ago by us. Okay, so there is no defined timeline. As I said, we validate updated product entries as and when required, or if the product entry was last validated at least 2 years ago by us. Thank you.
Thank you. Regarding the previous question about the new MAH, we as gateway users can insert new MPs, but not single organizations through the provider.
I'm really sorry, but I still don't understand. As gateway provider, you submitted information on behalf of an MAH. In theory, you should be able to submit any type of entity in XEVMPD, whether it's an organization, authorized medicinal product entry, development product entry, development terms, etc. So I'm really not sure how it is not possible for you to submit a new organization in XEVMPD through the gateway provider.
Yeah, I would contact your provider asking this question, like, why are you not allowed to send organizations?
Thank you.
Okay. Module 3 is common for all countries in MRP. The 3.2p.i.1 has many excipients, and we follow that for a particular country. Is it a correct way of approach?
Not really. So if you are sending the data as in module 3 for only one country of the MRP, it is not wrong, but ideally you should have the same information for all the products of this procedure. So ideally you should you should use module 3 for all the products in all the countries. Otherwise, there are discrepancies, inside this the MRP procedure.
Okay. Thank you. When we have nullified few pack sizes, CV code in XEVMPD still exists in PMS with valid status.
Yeah, then open a ticket, tell us the EV codes, and we will check why they have not been notified.
Can I just maybe interfere here a little bit? When you mention a valid status, do you mean valid marketing authorization status? Because if that's the case, then please know that when you nullify a product entity in XEVMPD, this does not change anything with regards to the authorization status of the product. The authorization status will remain as it was at the time of nullification.
Thank you. What is the deadline for splitting the product into the different pack sizes?
So here, go to chapter 3 of PMS, or you can also look for the in the PMS web page. You can look for the roadmap, and there you have all the information on the deadlines, depending if a product is considered critical or not. But in summary, if a product is critical, so it's under the Union List of Critical Medicines, you should have done it already, the split of the packages. And for products that are not considered critical, you still have until the end of 2026. Now I don't remember, sorry, I'm mixing the dates for the enrichment and this. I need to open the roadmap. Because I know by heart the dates for the enrichment, but not for this. I'll reply to this in writing. I need to check the guidance.
Yeah.
But you have the
and
roadmap
also
in the
I think they
PMS.
are, yeah, and also they are exactly, if you go to the PMS page on the EMA website, you can find both the roadmap and also a specific section where you can find all the deadlines for MAHs. It should be the PMS implementation section. Thank you. The version of documents in the attachment section should correspond to the version of the SMPC or the version of the entry in XEVMPD.
So the version number in an attachment entity is purely for a reference to indicate to us as EMA users and to you as MAH users what is the latest version of the documentation. So if I retrieve 3 documents which have exactly the same name, and for one of them the version is 1, for the other one the version is 2 or version 3, if I have to validate the product information, then I will always go for version 3 because that seems to be the highest version. So it is up to you how you're going to indicate the version number. However, it should always give us the clear guidance, what is the latest version of the document available. Thank you.
Thank you. For GMP updates, should it be 15, 30 days as AMPs?
So there is, again, no defined timeline for updates of developed medicinal product. They are not in scope of Article 57.2 submission requirements. If you need to find information, or if you need to register a clinical trial through CTIS, that unauthorized, for example, product information must first be inserted in the XEVMPD. There is no defined timeline for an update of the information as such. However, the information that is available in CTIS should always match, or should always be the latest information, first of all, about the development product, and should match with the information in XEVMPD.
Thank you. When the QC validates a new code, pack size, and changes, for example, major indication, the other pack sizes for the same medicinal product are not corrected at the same time, which leads to inconsistencies. Is there any way to improve the situation?
So we are exploring a way of making the validation more consistent and indeed perform the same type of validation for all of the products in that cluster. Marcos, sorry, I've interrupted you. Were going to say something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's in line with what you are saying. So we are improving the way we are doing the validation. We are grouping the EV codes in clusters. So the EV codes that belong to the same medicinal product. So ideally, when we perform a change for one of them, the same change will apply for the rest.
Thank you. Can, as a generic MAH, go and insert a new marketing authorization by using the action reinsert of our originator and then make it any relevant changes?
If I understand correctly, you are a user from a company that that's not the MAH of a certain product. You retrieve the last validated version of that product in XEVMPD. And yes, indeed, you can use reinsert to get that version of that AMP in your create and send product reports section of the user interface, where you can then amend the information and submit it as new product from your organization ID.
Thank you, everyone, to have joined the session. I'll stop sharing my screen. And just as a reminder, the next sessions will happen starting from January. So the new monthly XEVMPD clinic series will start on 15th of January. While on the 13th of January, you will be able to register for the for the SOR and PMS Q&A clinics. So again, registration is available already on EMA website. So in any case, see you next year. We also have on January the SPOR and XEVMPD status update webinar. So since there were many questions on the XEVMPD new user interface, just as a reminder, during that webinar, the exact date for the launch of this interface, which as a reminder will be available simultaneously with the current interface for a transition period. The launch date will be announced during that webinar. So make sure to register there if you want to hear that announcement live. And I take also the occasion to wish all of you happy holidays. Take a well-deserved rest. Thank you very much also, Veronica and Marcos, for replying to all the questions. And thank you very much to all of you who have left your feedback. I see that you really took the time to leave your feedback today. So thank you very much. We reviewed that. And happy holidays and a happy new year.
Thank you, Katrina, for also organizing. And thank you, everybody who attended today and for your questions. I will just say exactly the same with Katrina in maybe different words. I wish you a very good holidays. Enjoy the break. Hopefully not too much work in between the holiday breaks, and a happy new year to you all.